Hello everyone, I'm Angelo. I've been homeless in Northern Virginia for over 3 months now, and I'm in Washington, D.C., about to head into a meeting for Green New Deal activists. As many of you know, a scientist came out with a report that said we have 12 years to drastically cut carbon emissions and totally change the way we get energy and make products and heat our homes and make our food, or else we're going to face practically a climate Armageddon. It's going to be a total disaster for all life on Earth. And today I just saw that insects are going extinct. It's like happening now, already. So I'm just encouraging people to look up like the Sunrise Movement or other movements you can find and take part in writing and calling and urging politicians and people around you, just people you know, to support Green New Deal legislation and activism, and get people turn their minds on to this. And not just politicians, there's things we can do, but as individuals they don't add up to nearly as much as, say, the top 100 corporations in the world can do to stop carbon emissions and stop the acidification of the oceans and stripping land, causing droughts, the military with their carbon emissions and bombs and destruction of lands and blockades and causing famine, disease, aside from the death they cause just with their weapons. We're at war with 7 countries right now, and we're trying to overthrow the government of Venezuela, which I don't defend Nicolas Maduro at all. He's a terrible guy, but we cannot make it any better by installing our own proxy government there. And why do we want that? Well, big reason is they have a ton of oil in Venezuela, and we have to totally cut our use of oil and switch to non-carbon emitting energy sources. So we have to totally change. That's going to mean changing everything and having to support people. Look, this cab's going by without light on. Support people in this huge transition process while there's going to be, massive changes in allocations of resources, massive job changes. That's why Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is promising a job for everybody. We are looking at, totally changing our transportation, the food we eat, how we bring power to our homes, our jobs, everything. This is going to drastically change the world, and it needs to happen. If it doesn't, we're looking at, in our lifetimes, it's so scary to think about. You think about trying to plan a future. Well, unless you're very rich and very fortunate, you're going to be dealing with all kinds of problems, not just having to, leave coastal cities if the sea levels rise, but having to pay for more expensive food, shortages of medicine, shortages of fuel. It's going to be terrible. More wars, more famines, more disease, and more ignorance from right-wingers who are paid off by Exxon and other oil companies that pay for studies to say that climate change isn't real. It's amazing to see people that I used to admire back when I was a conservative and I believed in climate change denialism, like Sean Hannity, try and scare people and say they're trying to change the way you heat your home, the way you eat your food, the way you get to work. Excuse me. Oil companies and gas companies and coal companies and greedy politicians have been doing that for over a century. Why do you think we're so reliant on cars and roads? Why do you think our infrastructure is so underdeveloped? Why do you think medical care is so expensive? Housing is so expensive. I'm in D.C. right now. In Arlington, where I grew up, the average 1-bedroom apartment goes for $1,678 a month. Here in D.C., it's $2,400 a month. And it's going to get more expensive as more greedy companies come here to do business, to follow suit from corporations like Amazon, who all these politicians are welcoming here. Even supposed liberals like Tim Kaine, who is so excited to have them come here and said, well, we got to make sure Amazon feels that it's a good investment, that they don't regret their decision to come here. New York may push them out. I hope they do. They don't care about New York or Arlington. You see in Seattle, they have 12,000 homeless people there now, due large part to Amazon moving there, driving up rents, and then Amazon moved away, reaped all the benefits, and they could care less. And we're going to see more homelessness around here, more poor people being concentrated into poorer and poorer neighborhoods, more congestion, and we're not seeing a fundamental change in how we treat, in how we produce our energy, how we travel, everything. And Amazon, by the way, one of the reasons they want to come here, they are bidding for a $10 billion contract with the Pentagon, which is in Arlington. They're going to be practically next door to it. And Crystal City and Pentagon City are right next to each other, neighborhoods in Arlington, for a cloud computing network that's going to support weapon systems. So that's a ton of money, billions of dollars, to support weapon systems that are going to go kill poor people in other countries and enrich a few people here and keep the rest of us poor and exploited. And by the way, it's going to, like, you think about just the environmental footprint of that. You know, you talk about bombs, bullets, battleships, jet fighters. It's horrendous. It's horrific. It needs to stop. So look at the Sunrise Movement. That's what I've signed up for. They got demonstrations going tomorrow, Tuesday, February 12th, and Wednesday, February 13th. On February 26th, it's another big day. So look up, like, for, you know, places to meet and actions you can take. You can write letters to, you know, local newspapers, call your senators and House of Representatives, protest, make demonstrations, put videos online, and we have to do this if life is going to be sustained. It's scary to think you want to plan a future. Well, your future is going to be totally disrupted if we don't get control of this now and ignore the greedy, like, climate denialists like Ted Cruz and Donald Trump, who don't give a damn. They don't have the first principle about anything regarding these issues. They just know that they want to keep the status quo going of rich executives at oil and gas companies and coal companies being like, you know, working side by side with them, having lots of access, and basically keeping their comfortable existence while 40% of the country is practically in poverty. We got 50 million people on food stamps, and this is going to affect everything. There's nothing it doesn't affect. As far as we talk about environmentalism and pollution, there's, you know, environmental racism, the fact that we, you know, destroy black and brown neighborhoods, or the neighborhoods of black people and brown people and immigrants, and with pollution, with you know, not funding proper, like, cleanups, like all kinds of horrible stuff. Anyways, so we have to get in control of all that and have some clear thinking on that. So look up those movements. Whoa, I'm trying to get the light exposure right on this. On the Sunrise, like the Sunrise websites, their Facebook, their website, their Twitter pages, and let me know if you're going to take part in anything. So I'm going to be taking part in more of these events soon, and hopefully I'll be live streaming soon, some of them on Twitter. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Angelo. Subscribe for more videos. Bye.